Yo, 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 thank you for tuning in to another one. It's your guy, Border Lucky Libra, and this is the personal reading for all of my Virgos, all right? When we're talking about the solar eclipse new moon, all right? So let's get right into it. So when we look at Gemini season Virgos, Gemini season is influenced by Mercury. You're ruled by Mercury. So we came into the season understanding this season was going to be teaching you. This is a square though. This season was going to be teaching you how to project more of what you already feel and think heavy on, whether it's a creative attribute, whether it's an aspiration, whether it's a plan, whether it's some form of communication with others, things you need to express, whether it's certain personal endeavors you want to put into the light. This season was influencing you to push it out some more. Okay, to jump into the more masculine energy of your Mercury. Okay, being more expressive of your thoughts, your imagination, your creativity, your true feelings. Okay, so Virgo, during this season, it may have been a lot of readjusting you had to do with relationships, and there may have been certain people that you used to be connected to that started to resurface around this time, Virgo. Not only is a square, you had to learn how to react and respond and how to deal with certain relationships with certain people, aka you done had a lot of familiar friends or a lot of people you've been allowing yourself to connect to, not understanding the foundation, understanding if this is a toxic situation or whatnot. You just going with the flow. So yeah, you've been learning a lot, being more open and dealing with different forms of communication. But at the same time, a lot of these situations was pushing you for you to be the one to be more expressive. A lot of these situations were pushing you into you embracing interaction in order for you to spark some life and some inspiration into some of the things that you're dealing with, because you walked into a lot of conversations this season talking about certain things or hearing others talk about things you're already working on. Okay, and then you realize how much of a source of information you are. You're realizing how much value you already have just being out in the open and seeing what people are already exchanging. So there's a lot of situations this season, Virgo, that you was able to give some form of practicality to a situation, all right? But you was placed in a situation to be more expressive and expressive about it. You was placed in a situation to be more to be more illustrative about things. So it was kind of hard to be to yourself this season, Virgo. You also had a lot of people critiquing what you're working on. You already do that by default. So with us dealing with more Mercury energy, all this energy in stellium, in all this stellium energy in Gemini, your ruler Mercury in Gemini, you may have been overly critical of yourself, and to a degree, this may have stunted some stunted some of the things you wanted to act on, or at least the pace you wanted to act on with these things. But it's all good as long as moving in and out this new moon energy, that you continue to understand, embracing being more expressive about the things you already know, the knowledge and wisdom you already have, the way that you understand of working on things. This whole season was showing you, working through other people, whether it was Instagram, social media, a TV show, a circumstance with your friend. You was just understanding how you could be of more service if you apply some of your wisdom, or you could be more of a plug, more of an outlet for others in the collective, by you making sure that you give yourself a chance to exercise the things exercise your ideas, Virgo. So you jumping into the expressive energy was a huge highlight. All right, realizing shit ain't gotta be perfect, Virgo. This season has helped y'all to realize that, especially with Gemini, could be a real quick-paced, frivolous, like up in the air type energy. So there's a lot of situations this season, Virgo, you had to learn to move without being so planned, without being so on top of things. Now we are in heavy retrograde energy, including your ruler Mercury being in retrograde. So there's a lot of things that you naturally knew you had to revisit, revise. You felt the heavy influence, whether it's the foundation of your friendships, relationships, and your personal projects that you're working on. You already have a natural critical eye for these things. That's why you may have really been in a state of trying to find the balance between relationships and what you're working on, because a lot of what you're working on had you wanting to reset, take your time, while a lot of your friendships, a lot of interactions with others may have played out as distractions. This is a square, so your ability to schedule and analyze may have been thrown off by relationships, and your your time being invested in trying to analyze and see the details of your friends or your relationships. So that's very key. Moving on from this new moon, you're understanding that you take the clarity you gain about your relationships and apply that, so we can move on with more of an efficient schedule post this new moon. All right, that was some of the hugest things to take away from this energy. And letting your relationships flow. Okay, you allowed yourself for people to reciprocate energies this season. Okay, and even if you was in a state of overexerting energies, overexhausting yourself, you realize who was worth it and who wasn't. You realize who who you don't mind, who you don't mind being a source of information or service or help to, because deep down this person has your best interest. This person is invested in your growth. Okay, so this was like kind of the energies that you needed to pay attention to help you decipher your relationships right now. Okay, Virgo, so you want to continue to make sure that your natural energy is earth, mutable earth, being able to receive and learn and understand from others on a practical level how to deal with reality. So you guys are able to gain a lot of information about work, how to move up in this position, this industry, all right, how to apply here. A lot of things with reality, you're the most mutable and flexible when it comes to that. I said the most mutable, the most flexible and adaptable when it comes to dealing with the, earth realm. This energy was showing you how to get that energy more in cahoots with people, with resources, with contacts, and you was pushed into that energy. You was also pushed into the state of understanding how you could relate things that you're working on to the collective. But like I said, a lot of that may have been stimulated from certain people you was already around, people being curious and pretty inquisitive about what you're working on, and that by default getting some of your things that you're working on, your aspirations off the surface just by conversation and people wanting to be into what you're into. So moving on to Cancer season, Virgo, this is a harmonious alignment here. Cancer is going to be sextiling you, all right? So it's going to be a real time to get more emotionally stable, all right, and finding that balance between career. All right. Sometimes career could throw the nervous system off for you Virgos. All right. The nervous system is already highly active, but because you guys could be so career oriented as Earth, that could just throw, moods, emotional well-being off. Now, Cancer season is going to help to really find the balance between the two. All right. To find energy to settle you in career where, you're stable on this, you're working on this. You don't got to overthink anything else. This is your career plan. Okay. And then when it comes to your relationships, your personal well-being, you know how to deal with that as well. Okay. And you're learning to deal with that as well. More support from the homes, more support towards things dealing with internal energy. All right, Virgo. So make sure this new moon, you don't allow anybody to get up under your skin, and don't feel compelled to overexert yourself or anybody neither. This is definitely a time we don't want to overwork, overdo things when we don't feel like we have the capacity to do so. Very important that you keep this in mind. All right, Virgo.